Hey everybody, I'm back for the second video of the Q&A, so I'm just going to dive right in and start answering more of your questions. So, the first question for this session comes from TheZachchilds, who asked me if I'm pretty much strictly only an RPG player or if I play more kind of like laid back and calm games. So I kind of wish you would have listed some examples for that because I don't exactly know what you mean by calm games. That's really a matter of opinion. It depends on who you are. Obviously on my channel I've got like Harvest Moon, which is in my opinion more of like a calmer game because there's not really a lot of like challenge to it. You just kind of play for the sake of playing it. So Harvest Moon I play a lot of, and I have throughout my entire lifetime. So Harvest Moon definitely I play a lot in my spare time. I also play games like The Sims from time to time. Um, Animal Crossing as well, which is again I think more of like a calm game, and I also like to play like it's a game called Columns Crown, and what it is essentially a cross between Tetris and Bejeweled, and I play that almost every single night before I go to bed because it kind of just makes me tired and sleepy and kind of just calms me down for bed. So that's something that's more calm. That's something that is just like placing colors together and making chains, and there's really not a whole lot to it. But other than that, I am more exclusively an action adventure slash RPG player. That's definitely my speciality and definitely my passion. I love the challenge of RPGs and adventure games, and I love the length of them and the diversity in the art style. And there's just so much I look for in gaming, and definitely that those genres are kind of more what I prefer. So I hope that answered your question. If you actually like have some examples for me, or you can think of other games I might play, then feel free to leave it in the comments, and I will answer you back as to if I play it or not. So. Next question comes from some kind of monster 54. So, what music are you into, and who are your favorite musicians? All right. So I feel like I'm gonna lose like mega respect points for this question because I feel like my music taste is more what like everybody on the planet hates. Um, so I'm not really good with genres. So I guess I'll just list off a bunch of bands. Just like with gaming, I kind of like to dip into like a bunch of different genres and artists and stuff, and I'm really open to listen to something at least once before I say that I hate it. So right now, because my music tastes change a lot, music to me is super dependent on my mood. Um, so I would say that right now I'm super into Adele, because she's just amazing. I really listen to a lot of like Cobra Starship, Britney Spears, Kesha. I like pop music when I want to kind of feel more energized. I feel like the high energy and beats and auto tune of the songs gets me in the mood. Like I listen to it when I drive. So if you're ever driving with me, prepare to get your ears blown out by Kesha. And like cleaning, like if I clean, I want to like have like a high energy sort of beat. I also listen to other bands like Billy Talent, Linkin Park, of course, like awesome. Breaking Benjamin, A Perfect Circle, Disturbed, 3 Days Grace, Three Doors Down. Like the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And it's really difficult for me to just kind of list what music I'm into because like I said, I'm not good with genres and it just changes whatever mood I'm in from time to time. I would say one of my favorite musicians slash bands of all time would have to be Billy Talent. Billy Talent was huge, absolutely huge, at least in Canada because they are a Canadian band. They were absolutely huge when I was younger, like when I was, I would say like 12, 13. So I just kind of got into them when I was really young, and I'm still really into them. I went to one of their concerts. They were absolutely fantastic live. I was in the mosh pit, and I was like getting my ass kicked by people jumping around me and kicking me in the head and stuff. It was a great experience. And their music is just I can listen to it like any mood I'm in. Linkin Park again is one of those bands that it doesn't matter. I can listen to them over and over again. I even like their new stuff. It took me a long time to get used to, but I really do like their new music now. So I guess I'm more into like softer rock. I'm not a huge fan of like like death metal and screamo is pretty much one of the only genres I don't listen to a whole hell of a lot. I even listen to rap, like I listen to a lot of Eminem and stuff like that. So I hope that answers your question. I'm not really good at explaining music, so I'm sorry about that. And the second question I ask is who inspired me to do Let's Plays? So I think I answered this in the last Q&A, but a story for everybody is that when I was younger and I didn't actually do Let's Plays or anything, I used to never go on YouTube. I used to hate YouTube. I used to tell myself that YouTube's like this gigantic time sink, and if I go onto it, I'm going to be stuck there for hours and it's going to waste my time, and there's so many other things I could be doing. So I never went on YouTube because I didn't really have a reason to go on, honestly. And I'm very old-fashioned. I much prefer to read like FAQs than I do to actually watch a video unless something they're saying doesn't make any sense, and it makes a lot more sense in video form. So I'm much more of like a fact person. So I got into YouTube and Let's Playing in a completely different sort of way. But long story short, when I actually got here and I started to actually say to myself, like, holy shit, there's people on this planet that actually play video games and show it to people, that is like the coolest thing ever. When I got to that point, I started watching Dark-Minded Sith, who actually I'm very proud to say is a very, very good friend of mine. I know him personally. But yeah, one of like the biggest inspirations for me, and it's also such an honor to be his friend. It's basically like being a friend with like one of your idols. It is the coolest thing ever. So not only is Dark-Minded Sith an awesome Let's Play, but he's also an awesome friend. He's funny, he's informative, and he puts so much effort into his videos, and I cannot give him enough mention. He is so cool. So he is kind of the first person that got me into Let's Playing, like, ever, and as I started to watch more people and I started to kind of get into the community a lot more, I would say my second biggest inspiration to kind of improve, and somebody that I kind of want to be like, would have to be Batman9502. He's probably, just in my opinion, just one of the best people out there. He has like the best voice. It is so soothing. He has a really awesome laugh too when he actually does laugh. The games he chooses are like really off the wall and unheard of and really quite cool. He's really good at like graphical stuff. He's like really got awesome like thumbnails and a background, and he's really good about getting back to his fans, and his videos are informative, and I really wish I could be like him. I really do, because he's pretty much everything that I am, except I'm like 100 times worse than he is. So yeah, so those two guys are awesome. If you haven't checked them out, they are both on my other channels box on my channel, and I respect and I love both of their videos so much. So yeah, definitely those two, hands down, no question about it. So let's see, what do we got on my page here? So Maybebluechels, I think is how you pronounce that. So the first question is, do I believe in aliens? Now, me, I'm kind of like a hard, concrete evidence person. Like, I don't believe in rumors unless I hear it from the person themselves, or I get like a whole ton of evidence that supports this rumor. Same with like, not that I want to get into this debate, but like religion. I'm not very religious because I don't have any concrete proof that whatever exists. So yeah, I'd have to say I don't really believe in aliens. I'm a very open-minded person, and of course I think that they're probably, possibly somewhere out there. There could be aliens, there could be a god, whatever, but until I have extreme concrete evidence, unless they're here invading me, that is the day that I will actually believe that they 100% fully exist. Hopefully they don't hear me if they do exist and they're gonna come like probe me in my sleep or something. That would be frightening. And the second question is, how has gaming affected my life? So I don't know, that's something I guess I don't really think about. I've never really thought about it until you ask, but I guess it's a good question because you never think about it. I would say it's affected me both positively and negatively. I really don't know what I would do without video games. I'm just such I don't know. I don't have a lot of hobbies and I'm not really good at anything. Like I don't have anything in life that's like my true calling, if you know what I mean. So without video games, I think I'd be super bored and like even more boring than I already am. But in another regard, it's also really put me in a super awkward family, social, and love sort of aspect. I'm an only child, so growing up, I was always totally fine with being on my own. Like I didn't have any siblings to play with, so I just stayed in my room and kept to myself. So I'm an incredibly solitary person, and you can play video games on your own. So that's kind of how I found out about it. Um, I figured out like, hey, this is a really fun activity I can do on my own, and it kind of blossomed from there. Growing up, video games was always something I kind of kept separate. Um, I grew up in a town with like 3,000 people in the middle of nowhere, literally. So I was always outside because that was all there was to do. We didn't have anything like, I didn't have a Tim Hortons, like a movie theater, a McDonald's. I didn't have any of that growing up for the first like 14 years of my life where I was raised. So it was going outside and being with friends and stuff a lot of the day, going out and visiting my family, and then doing my homework and playing video games on the side, whatever. And then I moved to where I currently live, and I didn't have a lot of friends because I was a new kid and I'm already socially awkward enough. So it took me kind of a long time to make friends. When I made friends, I was out a lot. I was actually I was a really incredibly social person until I was about 15 years old. When I was 15, I kind of started to get into that video games kind of took over my life sort of thing. In high school, a lot of my friends disbanded for a variety of different reasons. One of my best friend's fathers committed suicide and she moved schools, which was awful. And I just didn't know what to say to her, so I didn't talk to her anymore. One of my other friends got into a clique with drug users that I'm not into that. And I only really had one friend left, and like me, she loves anime and she loves video games, so that's how we kind of connected. And that's how we spent our time and that's how we got along. I also had a boyfriend in high school from when I was about 15 to when I was about like 16 and a half. So it was like a year and a half relationship. He was into video games as well, and like he had a credit card and he was older, and it was like so cool at that time because he could like buy me stuff online and yada yada yada. So from the time I was 15 until I was about 17, video games kind of slowly took over. When I was 17, I went to college, and at that point, it pretty much fully took over my life because when I was 17, I went to college. I graduated early from high school. I was so busy with college, I had no time for my friends. I lost virtually all friends that I had, and all I really had was video games. I didn't want to go out after college. I was extremely depressed. College was like the worst, one of the worst times of my life. So I just stayed at home and played it. So I guess in one aspect, it saved my life because I would be so severely depressed without it. It was just something to do when I actually had spare time. I was really busy in college. But another aspect, it made me say to myself, like, I don't need friends. I can just sit inside and play video games, which now that I'm older and I'm not in school anymore and you actually have to, like, make time to go see people outside of your professional life, it's really difficult when you don't already have friends. Making friends at my age, like, when you don't go to school and all the people you work with are older, is really insanely difficult. So I'm really alone a lot of the time, which doesn't really bug me. And a lot of my family obviously doesn't understand why I like video games or why I'm the way that I am. My family's very outdoors orientated. My family loves to fish, they love to hunt, they love to bike, they love to kayak. They love to be outdoors, and I hate the outdoors. I want to sit inside all day. So I guess, and I'm sorry, it's kind of just a really deep kind of life sensitive type of question. So I spent a really long time answering that. But yeah, I would say definitely huge pluses and minuses. It's led me to this awesome partnership and this awesome slew of audience members and some awesome friends I've made on YouTube the last year. It's been a blast. It's one of my hobbies in life. It's something I feel I'm good at, and it's something that keeps me occupied. So I definitely feel that that is a very good thing. However, my social life has suffered significantly from it. And I don't know if I'm even really in any position to change my social life. I feel like I'm like stuck where I am now. So we'll see. Maybe I'll grow out of it, although I doubt it anytime soon. So I really don't like to ramble like that. I'm sorry that I spent so long answering that question. I guess I'm gonna have to finish this video up and hopefully answer some more questions in a more timely manner in the next video. So thank you, and I will see you next time.